Man, I was getting excited. I was getting ready for Hyperion. I was planning all my notes on how I'm going to progress and make videos. And then an absolute bombshell from the middle of nowhere. Absolutely from the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to do my intro. Hello. Hopefully you guys aren't too upset by the news. If you guys haven't heard already, that's what this video is going to be about. This news pretty much destroys all of the hype that was surrounding probably one of the most exciting updates to ever come to MapleStory in its pretty much, 20-year lifespan? It's terrible. It's very, very terrible. So there were two major changes that have people really, really upset. And of course, this affects pretty much everybody who wants to experience 6-job and any player who's dedicated to the game, essentially. So the first change involves the materials that you need to level up your 6-job. There's two materials that you need to actually level up your 6-job. There's Soul Urda and Soul Urda Fragments. Now, Soul Urda, in order to create one whole Soul Urda, you need 1,000 Soul Urda energy to create one Soul Urda. And Soul Urda Fragments are another drop that's just an extra material that could be used for also leveling up your 6-job skills. I digress. In the original, let's call it, the original version of the game, the Korean version of MapleStory, there is no cap on either of these resources. You can farm them as much as you want from Grandest Monsters. So this means from Cernium and above. In GMS, they have now introduced a cap to Soul Urda energy. You can only farm 400 Soul Urda energy a day, which is not even enough to give you one whole Soul Urda. Now, there's also a daily on top of that 400 Soul Urda energy cap. There's a daily that gives you another 600. So in total, you'll be able to get one Soul Urda a day, which, you know, if you didn't need that many, is not bad. But if we were to continue at this rate, it would take players 2 entire years worth of dailies. 2 entire years worth of dailies to max out their 6-job. That is horrible. And what's even worse, what's even more disgusting, is the fact that for people who only can play on various days of the week, get punished for this really hard. They don't get to level up their 6-job and enjoy the new content of the game because of this cap. So for any of the casual players or for any of the players who aren't available 7 days a week, this change is horrible. And then if you think about it in terms of, oh, well, what about the dedicated players? Well, of course, there's a cap. Any cap makes it so that dedicated players are, well, capped. So it's bad for them too. They can't even grind out what they want to do. It's bad for everybody. Now, I understand there's an argument to be made. The cap is to avoid botters from botting and just rushing through the entirety of 6-job and clearing the entire game and crashing the market for Soul Urda and essentially ruining the market. I understand. This, you could make an argument for it, but the issue with this argument is that the cap is far too restrictive. There is not enough space to let people play the game. In essence, there's not enough space for people to play the game. Why there was such an arbitrary cap of 400, I don't understand. It could have been 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Even like 3 to 4,000 would probably alleviate a lot of the heartfelt issues that people have with this system of capping. right? Because that would take your 2-year cap and turn it into, let's say, a 6 or a 7-month cap, which is, it's better. It's better, and that's what's important, is you solve the issue of people destroying the market in Reg Server, and people get to farm. Now, this may sound a little insensitive. Personally, a lot of the people in GMS play Reboot anyways, so me personally, I feel like the cap is completely unnecessary. And in a way, like, wouldn't it be easy to determine who's botting these resources? I think it would be very easy to understand that this person got unlimited progression in a very short amount of time. Maybe I'm just not understanding, but I digress. That's the whole situation with Soul Urda. Then there's the Oz box change. So in the Korean version of MapleStory, Oz was essentially removed. There's no more Oz. Or at least the rings from Oz, so all of your Ring of Restraints, your weapon jumps, will not be obtainable through Oz anymore. You get them through bosses. And these bosses drop boxes, so anything from normal Lotus and above will drop boxes. And the harder the boss, the better the box you get. So normal Lotus to normal Tenebris, I think, drops a green box. Hard Lucid and Hard Will drop a red ring jade box. Anything from C10 to Slime drops a black ring jade box. And then anything above Black Mage, so Black Mage, Saren, Kalos, Kaling, these bosses will drop a white jade ring box. Now in the Korean version of MapleStory, these white jade ring boxes can only drop level 3 and level 4 rings. So for example, if I open that white jade ring box and I actually do roll a Ring of Restraint, it will be level 3 or level 4, guaranteed. In GMS, this was nerfed for some reason. The white jade ring boxes now also drop level 1 and level 2 rings. For what reason, I don't know. So there is actually a chance now, which is probably gonna happen more often than not. If you open a white jade ring box, there is more chances that you will open up a box and get a level 1 ring, which is worthless. Why this change was made, I don't know, really. It makes it more difficult for new players because now they can't obtain Oz rings through the Tower of Oz anymore. And for endgame and dedicated players who don't have a Roar 4 already, it becomes more difficult. Which is, of course, it's just more, it's not a good change in this regard. You're relying on the whole point of this boss change was to A, eliminate Oz, and B, reduce the amount of rings, or reduce the amount of RNG for when you actually do get a drop, so that it's, you know, at least relatively consistent. But changing this white jade ring box to drop level 1s and level 2s significantly increases the RNG again, the RNG aspect of it. Now, the Discord and the MapleStory forums are absolutely on fire, so in terms of the Discord, there's a lot of spam going on, so if you do have feedback or any ideas, please try to be constructive. Don't spam or attack or do anything if you are in the MapleStory Discord. I'll leave a link to the forums if you want to leave feedback there. Once again, please don't attack or insult anybody. That's not how we come to a solution here. but I definitely do understand that this is extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. And it's pretty much bad for the entire community. Whether you're on reg server, whether you're on reboot, these changes suck. And this might completely kill all of the hype surrounding New Age, which was supposed to be one of the best updates to ever come to the game. This was supposed to significantly increase our player bases because there's a lot of new content to be experienced for players. It made a lot of the, what we call endgame content now, more accessible because everybody is able to get more Sacred Force, and you know, they don't have to do Oz anymore, waste time on Oz anymore, because Oz is such a huge time sink and has, you know, somewhat of a learning curve. I'm very upset with these changes, just like everybody else is. But yeah, please leave your thoughts down below as well. I'm curious to see what other people think about this. So that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally eat your mesos faster than Starforcing does. Thanks.